It's only been a month, but honestly, I have done a lot in this month for updates that have made big impacts, and I have improved the user experience of it all. If we look here, you can see the UI is improved. It looks a little nicer here. It's a little cleaner. There's now more dashes that the player can do. It recharges faster for easier maneuverability, and I've gone ahead and added a new tab screen. If I hit tab now, look at that. You can see your stats. This is your starting base stats now. So your starting max health is 100. You don't have no increases whatsoever. And the reason why it looks like this, why it looks like cards, is one, because it's thematic. I'm having pretty much everything be cards more or less, because I feel like if we already have a deck builder and that's all cards, maybe it'd be kind of cool to have everything be cards. I know, maybe it's just me. But these are all your base stats starting out, and we can add more, of course. There's plenty of room. There's also a second tab here where you can see your current weapon. So you can see here is your current weapon and your current weapon abilities. It tells you what percent of damage it does, the cooldown of the attacks, what button to press. And if you go ahead and switch to a controller, all the icons will get adjusted automatically. So it's either a mouse or a controller, and it tells you which one to press. And of course, this is all controllable with a controller as well. Full controller support. The main thing here is you can also see all of the icons now on the cards. So these are your keywords. So before they used to be down here and you just say like unstackable, but now they're just icons, so you can quickly take a look at them. If you want to display them, you can press a button and get all the information about what it is. For example, this weapon has Fortify, 1% damage reduction per enemy hit, maximum 25%, decays 5% per second. I think that's actually wrong. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to say 5% per enemy hit and 3% per second reduction. The values might not be right in terms of what it displays. Mental note for myself to update that, because I think after I created this, I rebalanced it, but I haven't updated the description. Anyway, the melee got a boost. Now I'm going to have all melee weapons have this Fortify, because I've been trying to figure out a way of balancing ranged and melee. Melee is just so much, well, squishier because you're in melee range. And so I now added a little mechanic to improve tankiness. You just run in, do a massive AoE, hit a bunch of targets, get your stacks up, and then by the time the group has kind of reduced down in size, you also have reduced the amount of extra protection you're getting. So it becomes a little better. And I feel like it's a pretty good spot right now, but of course it needs testing. And also besides that, melee has also gone a 30% base damage upgrade. So effectively 30% more damage if you're using the melee weapon. So more protection and more damage for being in melee. But if you're in range, you already get a lot of protection from the fact that you can just stay away from all enemies. So I think it's fair. But that's now this new menu here. Why is this new menu here? Because we've now moved the deck builder over here. So this is the new deck builder location. We can interact with it. And here's the deck builder as it was before. Everything works just like it did before. I can remove cards. I can come here, add cards. I can bring them back and forth here. Lots of control, lots of sorting, searching, all the good stuff. And aside from that, we now have this area here. The progression shop also got a rework. It looks just like your stat screen. You can see over here is all of the same stuff. It tells you how much it costs of what currency. And you can see your currencies down here in the bottom right. This is what you currently have access. And not only does it tell you what it is and what it increases it by, but it also shows you your current and what it's going to be after the upgrade. So for example, right, increases base critical chance by 1%. I currently have no critical chance. If I pick this up, I know I'll have 1%. I'll go from 0 to 5%. Increase the deck size limit by 5. No longer are you increasing it by 1 every time. First one, 5 extra. The reason I decided to do 5 extra instead of the previous one is mostly because I realized that you're gonna, at least very early on, want to increase this deck size. When you try out more cards, you might want to add some, and at least to get to the amount of cards that you'll be actually now getting. Because previously on the first floor, you were getting 3 cards. Now you'll probably get around 5, which is good because 5 power-ups is better than 3 for fighting the boss, which has also been changed a bit. Not the boss itself, but how you're getting there. There's so many things that have changed in this month, and they're good updates, I promise. But this is the new progression shop. Again, we can come here, and these cards will also update. This is basically your stats that you get for the starting of the run that are not modified by anything in the dungeon itself. So let's come into the dungeon and let's see what has changed, because quite a bit has. Here we are in the dungeon. I press select. We have the activated cards now. We have the deck. We have the shop pool and the exhausted cards. And one thing you'll notice is we have the big card preview on the right. And as I change these, we get the nice large preview. And if I want to see the icon there, I can, and it only will display it on the right there. It will no longer display it on these smaller versions of cards. This is just so when you're playing on a smaller device, there's no reason to put it on those tiny cards. We have a large card preview. Look at the stuff in there. No need to clutter kind of this area. In cases where where these cards are very large on screen, it will display all the information there. But in here, we don't have that. And you also still have access to your weapon, so you can still see all your information there. Aside from that, we have reworked a few things. Starting with the fact that you can see we have now 3 mobs here. So now every pack comes with multiple mobs. I've also reworked the damage numbers, the cooldowns, and not only that, we have now more tanky 2 enemies there. And then the one that has the red outline is a champion. So we have elites and champions basically. And effectively the way it works is they all give different amount of experience. So if you look at the bottom left right now as I'm fighting these guys, basically I'm getting a set amount of experience per enemy, like you would kind of expect from a game like this. Every enemy gives a set amount, but it really depends on whether it's a base enemy, like a trash mob, an elite like this guy here, or champion like this one that just attacked me who does considerably more damage. So based on that, you get more or less experience, and that means you get more or less potion charges. So the potion gets recharged quite a bit faster now, which is great. I'm kind of not really paying attention as I'm fighting this. It's taking quite a while, but if I actually pay attention and attack in ways where I actually hit stuff, you know, things can progress. Of course, you still have your regular attacks that I haven't been using at all. And there we go. I already have a potion to recharge. In the top left, you might have noticed also I have the stacks of fortify. So I'm able to go ahead and die because I wasn't looking at the AoE. But we can get it here to the new, well, it's interesting. I was saying new death screen, but I'm looking at my run duration at being -8 seconds. I'll be honest, I've tested this multiple times in editor. That has never been a thing. So apparently packaged builds are different with duration of time, but all the other stats are probably working fine, right? Let's take a look. Damage dealt 4,000, damage taken 163, which makes sense with the amount of potions we've taken. You can see the amount of potions we took here. We've only been to level 1. Biggest hit survived. So the biggest single hit I got was 26. Biggest hit I've dealt was 97. I've killed 22 enemies and I've taken 163 damage. And the enemy that killed me is Zorlo. And if I was to find anything in the dungeon that I collect, I would see that here. Let's go back to the hub real quick, and I can point out a few more things. So obviously, aside from just mobs now having 3, so each pack is now set up with a trash mob, an elite, and a champion, all 3 of which, by the way, are different. There we go. Now I'm going to slowly pay attention a bit more and probably able to knock these guys out a bit. Oh yeah, I can run out of this map somehow. If I can dash out under certain circumstances. Yeah, I still need to figure that out, but there we go. I can already heal, so I'm at 100% health now this time from the first thing. I want to point out that there's this green bar. So there's no longer this big bar in the bottom with the little notches. Now there's just this. And despite my best efforts, it seems like there's still a fatal error. I tested so many times. I genuinely tested so many times, and I was not able to get a fatal error. And now that I'm recording, I get a fatal error. It just won't go away. It's the worst. But what I was trying to say is the little green bar that's just down here is basically your level experience bar. When you get to the full amount, it'll just go back and it will charge a little bit slower the next time, and a little bit slower the next time, and so on and so on. Basically, whenever you get a quote-unquote new level, you get to access one of your cards from your deck and pick which power-up you want. So if you want to, you can farm and clear everything, or you can run right away to the boss. And I say that because there's now a boss portal all the way at the bottom. Yep, I have just made it so there's a full boss portal at the bottom. If you want to, just bypass everything, run straight to the boss, and get no experience and fight him as is. Nothing's gonna stop you. Of course, I'm expecting you to have a certain amount of power by a certain point in time, so you're gonna have a harder time if that's the case, but maybe you wanna just hard mode it. I'm not gonna stop you anymore. Do whatever you like. One other thing that I have changed is the fact that I've added a ton more spots for the meta progression crystals. Ooh, like this one right over here. Good timing to appear. So you still can only get 3, but there are now 4 more spots for it to spawn, and it's not guaranteed that it spawns on every single location. And once you pick up 3, oh, there's another one, then that's it. Now, it actually will spawn in 10 random locations, or rather, it picks 10 random locations, and then once you pick up 3 of the 10, the other ones stop spawning. So that way, it's a little bit easier right now to find at least 3 in your run, so you don't have to specifically go out and try try to find the 3 that only exists in a large map. Oh, and there's the 3rd. Look at that. I might adjust that value to make it quote unquote easier or harder. What I don't want is just people running around the map, picking them up and just dying to farm them. But there you go. You can see as I've been running around, you've seen different mobs and things of that nature. And you can see here, I collected the 3 crimson shards. If we go back to the hub, we can go over here to the progression shop, all the way down here, and we can go inside. You can see I now have 3. And when I get 5, I can pick up one of these 2. And if I want to, of course, change the one that I am picking up, we can do that right over here. Now it's supposed to change the icon in the bottom left. Oh, there it goes. There's the icon being changed. I wonder if there's a delay. It took a while. Okay, well, that's something for me to look into. It seems like in the package build, this is having some issues, but basically you can change the item that you kind of find in the world, and the bottom left, it tells you which one you're getting. So if you want to find a specific one around, you can. I've also changed the distance at which mobs despawn and spawn in to hopefully improve some performance, since I've increased the amount of mobs that are here in general. Now, there's still performance issues, but right now that is not the main focus. So the dead ends are still a giant pitfall where you can just fall down to your death. Be careful. I'm still waiting for the dungeon architect dev to kind of clear that up. I'm almost dead. I'm dead. I did not make it out. Because as I'm running around here, I'm having no issues. I even tried getting all the way to the boss and I never had a fatal error. I can't believe, well, during the recording, it got me a fatal error. Still not fully gone. But those are kind of the big changes that I've made. And gameplay wise, the change to the mob packs has dramatically improved the actual playability of this. It's a lot more interesting now with having different enemies. So realistically, you go in, you kind of one-shot most of the trash mobs, and then you're realistically fighting 2 or 3 mobs from the pack more seriously. So you don't feel overwhelmed from a giant pack, but you still get to have the feeling of, oh, I'm killing these guys pretty quickly, because realistically, I want 1 to 2 ability hits to kill off the majority of the pack, which is the trash mob, to get that dopamine hit. The big thing for next month that I'm working on is AI. I need to rework the AI for all of these mobs and make it far more interesting, better movements, more interesting attacks, and more unique stuff, where I want trash mobs to be able to just run around and just attack you regularly. But if it is an elite or champion level for that same mob, it should have more unique abilities or some more unique stuff. So the stronger the mob is in kind of its spawn, the better its abilities. And obviously it is already doing more damage, has more health, and gives you more XP. But that's kind of the main things that I've actually worked on this month, and has honestly made a big difference so far. And I think next month is going to be another big difference in actual playability and fun, because we'll have better AI. And I guess I will try to figure out again a fatal error and try to get it fixed. I'll get there someday. Maybe if it didn't just say fatal error. Right, Unreal? Anyway, if you want to try this game out for yourself in its current very early stage, you can join the people here on Patreon that support what I do. It really means a lot. And if you'd like to join the community, the link to the Discord and everything will be down in the description below. And just a heads up, if you're fine with a 2-month delay on any package build, you don't have to get the highest tier. You can get the one below it, and you'll get the game on a 2 months delay off of that. So since it's going to be February, you'll be getting the December build on the 1st if you're still interested. If you want to see what the game was like back then and the changes that were implemented in the December build, you can check the video right over here so you know what to expect.